honestly think it could probably land like this. A reusable orbital spaceplane with very low tech. Now I have unlocked a couple of techs because I've been faffing about with this a little bit. So what I unlocked was advanced rocketry, but it was only so that I could get to fuel systems. Advanced rocketry itself just gives me stuff which, I mean, maybe the Thud liquid fuel engines might be of interest. Possibly because they can be radially mounted. I might need to think about that actually. But the real reason I unlocked that was so that I could unlock fuel systems and I could get the external fuel ducts, which has also given me another tank and some big tanks. So let's load up the most recent version that I was working on, which was the Whiz-Bang X Mark II. Now I've reverted to the mounted version. With the smaller craft mounted on top of the bigger craft. This does actually need some of these, which I had forgotten about. Now mounting this on the front actually probably works slightly better, but I don't know. I decided to revert to this version and I just kind of like stuck with that pretty much. I've made a few modifications. We've got underslung tanks here. We've got the gear attached. I've put a couple of these nose cones on just to help the aerodynamics. I've also stuck this little tank on the front so that we've got a better wheel profile. That's indecision for you. There you go. Maybe like that. Is that gonna work? Might work. We want these to be staged on when we're starting to struggle. And we probably want to limit them to... Let's see how that goes. Bill, no. We want Jeb in the pilot seat. There we go. In fact, we need two pilots, don't we? There we go. Jeb and Valentina, both aboard. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Brakes on. Are all of our... They are. All of our jet engines are on the same. We'll power that up to full. It might work. It might work, you never know. Lots of jet engines is good. It means we've got more speed early on. Alright, brakes off, accelerating down the runway. It's a curious beast. I had to stick this thing on the front because otherwise this front wheel was too low and the thing just couldn't take off. I mean it could, but you had to really aggressively pull up at the end of the runway, and then that had a tendency of just flipping over and go, whoa, okay. You didn't see that, right? So, here we are again on the runway, getting ready to take off. Brakes on. I need to pay a bit more attention to it, obviously, this time, and make sure that it doesn't... I don't think I've got any asymmetry. I think everything is pretty properly set up. It may be because I've got these on. I should probably figure out which ones to activate and which ones to deactivate in any given situation. But let's just try and actively monitor it a little bit more and keep it nice and straight down the central line. It probably doesn't help that there's all these great big potholes in this runway, to be honest with you, when you're launching something like this. 90, we've already got quite a lot of speed there. Look, oh look at that, bam, straight off. We just needed to pull up, that was all. Alright, let's climb. Another factor one has to consider when considering factors. Look, we picked up some more viewers. We're up to 4 now. Some people, obviously, because I'm playing Kerbal Space Program now, instead of Chrome, which in this case was Chrome the browser, not Chrome, whatever the game Twitch actually thinks it's called Chrome is. Let's go for rocket ignition. And we're going to pitch right up and go up at about 60 degrees. We need to go pretty steeply because it's important that we get this thing out of the atmosphere so that when the second section detaches, it has time to accelerate up to orbital velocity before we have to switch back to the first section for its re-entry. That's the plan anyway. Accelerating. Now at some point we're going to have to fire up these rockets because as we lose the bite of the atmosphere, this thing is going to start to pitch out. So I think we're going to do that about when we get to 13,000, Let's do it when we get to 13,000. Here we go. Fire them up. Oops. Alright, that's good. That's good. It's a little harder to control, but we're accelerating 330. We've lost the jet engines, but that's fine. We were going to lose those as we continue to gain altitude up to 360 meters per second. Those rocket engines burning through the fuel pretty rapidly now. I think we've still got all three main engines plus those two, like, just whatever they are, stabilizing engines. 500 meters per second. 600 meters per second nearly. What's our apoaps? 43. Alright, we've lost the main engine in the middle. Perhaps 55. I don't think we're going to make it on this one. No. Gah! Close but no cigar. Just a little bit more. We need a little bit more. But it'll be interesting to see if we can control this thing when it comes back down. Fallen X is here. He's late. He's very late. Why are you so late, Fallen X, eh? It's outrageous behavior. Alright, let's just separate this and see how close to orbit it gets, and then we'll come back. Activate the engine. There we go. What have we made it to? Well, a very high apoaps because I wasn't paying any attention. But nowhere. There's no way this thing could have reached orbit. So let's switch back to. We could play a bit of Skyrim. I probably won't start the proper playthrough because I wanna kind of get a bunch of mods together to do it. Although I suppose we could do a bit of character creation or something like that if people are particularly interested. Going into next week, planning on doing some streaming and starting maybe like a streaming series, possibly Skyrim. I've discussed that with Mr. Wizard. What is that? Fuins? Mr. Wizard Fuins? Previously. And look, we have this whole like rear heavy issue going on again. Trying to actually get the nose down on this thing is a nightmare. Oh, there go the jets. Alright. Fantastic. Control boosters. Boosters for extra control. I mean, I honestly think it could probably land like this. The trouble is I don't want something that can just land. I want something that has cross range so it can actually fly back at the end of it all to where it came from. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, I'd have to artificially add weight to the front, which is not ideal, really. I could maybe mount some of these engines somewhere else. Speed, look, we're actually coming down to the point where we're stopping. We can land on the jets. We actually can land on the jets. Look, it's actually fairly stable. Hello, Blankre0960. How are you doing? Have you come to watch Kerbal Space Program? Right, what went wrong with this? Well, it didn't have enough thrust and it had no control when it actually came back down again. Both of which are problems, plus this has no landing gear. What's the worst that can happen? We incinerate our own craft mid-flight. That's the worst that can happen, but let's hope that that doesn't in fact happen. So, can we check on, like, keep that main engine firing for longer? That might do it. It probably won't, but it might. It also adds a bit of weight to the front, which might help us a little bit with our control problem when this thing is coming back down. Brakes on. Throttle to full. Jet engines are charging. So it is the general consensus among those interested in watching that Skyrim would be a good game to play. Skyrim as a wizard. And if so, does anybody have any mod suggestions? Because there's a few good magical mods that I am familiar with from back in the day. There's like a magical jewel one, which I think is really it adds a really nice sort of like extra mechanic. You basically can get locked into these like wizard jewels where you have like beams fighting each other to win out and have dominance. There's also probably like some like spell type mods that add lots of spells and extra spell variety. I don't know if anybody's finally gotten around to doing a mod that extends the Arcane University and maybe makes that a bit bigger and a bit more fleshed out. I would hope so, because that could really do with being bigger and more fleshed out. Oh, this thing is so much heavier. It's so much heavier. Oh dear. What have I done? I've added a massive ton of fuel to the nose. Now it can't fly anymore. Alright, here we go. Rocket. I think we had a staging issue. I shall try again, yes. Trying again is precisely what is going to happen. And this time we shall be successful. We shall reach for the stars. Jebediah and Valentina Kerman operating in union like some kind of Kerbal gestalt. We'll fly this thing to low orbit, to suborbit, and then the little section on the top will reach... Oops! That's not what I meant to do. Quick, let the brakes off. Let the brakes off. We shouldn't have fired the rocket engine at this stage. Oh no, quick. Let's shut that middle engine down whilst we can. Possibly not. This is what happens when Valentina and Jebediah are both in command. One of them's like, we're just powering up the jet engines, it's fine, and then Jebediah sees the rocket engine ignition button, and he just hammers that bad boy, and away they go. How much fuel we got? Alright, we just burnt out on something. You know, we never actually ignited these. What altitude are we at? Should we get them now? Yes, let's get them now. We're starting to lose control. Oh no, we've run out of fuel. Okay. Well, that's no good. This didn't work, I'm afraid, guys. This design that you all communally are responsible for, it didn't work. So, I don't know what you're going to do about it. That's bound to work. Debated nothing. Greetings! What is this monstrosity? This is a good question. That is a good question. It's you know, it's a thing. Game change. We can do a game change if people want to do a game change. Please cast your votes now. Well, actually, I'm going to try it with these SRBs in place. But, you know, once we've done that, if people want to see a game change, then by all means make your game suggestions in the comments and let your peers vote upon them. There we go. We've completely taken up the control surfaces. These are supposed to be control surfaces here. That can't be good. That can't be good for your control surfaces. Let's move them out. Alright, let's fire up these 6 gorgeous jet engines. Why have we only got... Oh, this... Do you think this is going to have an effect? We've got an air intake on the top here, but it's on the bottom on this side. Hopefully that won't have too much of an impact on the aerodynamics. I guess we will have to wait and see. Alright, brakes off. Here we go. This is going to work. It won't. It won't die. Look at it. How can a thing of such beauty possibly die? It can't, I tell you. It simply can't. Look at it picking up speed. 900, 100 meters per second, 113. We're just lifting off slowly here. Trying not to bang the... we're not quite managing to lift off. Come on now. Get up off the ground. Gear up. Gear up. Nose up a little bit. Oh, this thing is an absolute beast. Alright, we're airborne. We're airborne and we're stable. Look at the control inputs. I'm literally having to wrestle just to keep this thing from flipping out. I've been kind of tempted to maybe do my own reusable space program KSP series at some point. So this has been making me think about it. Like, as in, I don't know if anybody watches Scott Manley. He did a reusable space program way back in the day before Korea. And I was thinking, actually, it would make a really good career mode challenge. A bit like the old gaming geezers only doing it from the Spaceplane hangar. But this would be basically career mode whilst trying to make everything reusable. Let's pitch up and light up those solid rocket boosters. Are we ready for this, everyone? It's going to go. It is going to go all the way. Ready? And fire! Solid rocket boosters. Ho! Oh, yes. Accelerating. I think we need the other engines as well. We've got the other engines as well. Let's see if we can pitch up a bit more. Oh, this thing is an absolute beast. Come on. Stay straight. Stay straight. Stay straight. We're nearly burnt out those solids. Separate the solids. Alright. I don't know how much the solids actually help. But we're on our way, look. 270. No, what's going on? Whoops. Hold on. What are we at? 34,000. This is worse. We're getting worse with every launch. I'm doing fine, thank you. Relic Warrior 325. Is that your name on Twitter as well? Everybody, please vote now. Everyone's just voted for something different. Is that what? I don't know what that is in reference to. KSP, unturned. Wah, falling. Isaac, try again. Nice music, thanks. KSP. Good, fine, right. Well, this thing is plunging horribly towards the ground and is inevitably going to crash and burn. So let's just revert to the spaceplane hangar. Whilst we have a think about this, I honestly don't know if I'm like on anything like the right track for this at the moment. The trouble is, I keep adding weight, but we're not keeping up the thrust to weight ratio. So, we're kind of getting lower and lower. We're adding more and more fuel and getting less and less of the way towards orbit. It was actually better as a stripped down vehicle at one point. Let's try it. Come on then, we'll try it one more time, and then I swear we're not playing KSP anymore. So if this fails or if this succeeds, we will move on to something else, or we'll end the stream, depending on how long it takes. Here we go. Up. Not sideways. Up. Up, I tell you. What a takeoff. It's a perfect takeoff. Have you ever seen a more stable and steady takeoff? That's practically airliner Bo Shizzler, that is. Alright, I don't seem to be climbing anymore, so we're gonna go for the ignition of these solid rocket boosters. Here we go. Solid rocket boosters and main engines. No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Look, 40,000 meters. It's not enough. It is not enough. We have failed once again. We will make another attempt perhaps next week after next week's Just Talk. I will do some investigation in the meantime, and I will see if I can come up with a slightly better design. This just does not work, unfortunately. It does not work at all. Activate your engine and fly off into space. Bye-bye!